In this, we are going to learn what is the changes that takes place in the ionic radii. Okay. In the previous video, I explained about the atomic radius, isn't it? Can we just recollect that? What happens in the atomic radius? So when we move across the rows, that is across the periods. So I am taking the sodium. The atomic radius is 180, and the next is the atomic radius is 150. And then if you go to the aluminum, it is the 125. Then it is silicon 110. So there is a decrease. So when we move along the row, the atomic radii decreases, whereas when move down the group, what happens? The atomic radius increases. See, now the sodium is 180. Now I am going to potassium, it is 220. So when we move down the group, the atomic radius increases. When we move along the row, the atomic radius decreases. And what is the reason also we have studied in the previous video. If you have any doubt, I will share the previous video link. You can go there and you can clarify your doubt. And today we are going to see about the ionic radii. That is the next property of the periodic table. So what will happen to the ionic radii? Similar to the atomic radii, the ionic radii also. Yes, as we move along the row, the atomic radius decreases, isn't it? So see that I am showing one by one: vanadium, chromium. Look at the radius here. If you know, look at this. So look at the radius. When we move down along the group, along the rows, sorry, when you move along the rows, it is decreasing. Similar to the atomic radii, the ionic radii also. And then when you move down the group, what happens? Now, for example, I'm taking the aluminum. Now I'm moving down the group. What happens? In the aluminum it is 125. In the calcium, in the gallium it is 130. There is an increase. So what is the reason? So let me explain that. What are all ions? Ions means what? The ions are nothing but they are the atom when it loses or it gain electrons. When it lose electrons, what is the property? When it gain electrons, what is the property? So I will show you that detail in this video. Okay, whenever an atom loses an ion, what will happen? It loses an electron, for example. Whenever an atom loses an electron, it becomes a positive charge cation. Whenever an element no it gains the electron, it will become the negative charge, because electrons are negative charge. When the negative charge enter the atom, the anions are increased, so it will become anion. When the negative charge move away, it will become a positive charge, that is the cation. Okay, so the ionic radii also is similar to the atomic radii. That is the point I am coming to say here. Okay, so atomic radii and the ionic radii are very equal, similar. So when we move across the rows, what happens? Look at the radius. It is decreasing. The atomic radii and the ionic radii, it is decreasing. Okay, when we move down the group, the atomic radius increases. Okay, so what happens? The same point as I am explained in the atomic radii. When you move along the group, what happens? There is the increase in the negative charge. Okay, whereas when we move across the periods, there is the decrease in the negative charge. That's why the nucleus is unable to attract the electrons towards this. That's why it is decreasing along the period, whereas it is increasing along the group. Okay, children. Now let me explain the atomic radius and the ionic radius. Okay, now look at this. This is the hydrogen atom. So it is having one proton and one electron. So one electron will be there in the outermost shell. Yes, so one electron and the one proton. Now I am going to add one proton to the nucleus. So what happens? It has become 2. It become 2 electrons and the 2 protons, means what happens? It is the helium configuration. Okay, so when the electrons are added, when I am going to add more electron to the outermost shell, what happens? It becomes a negative charge, negative ion. When I am going to add one more electron again it is negative charge only. Okay, now it is the negative ion, anion. So when it gains electrons, it is anion. Now I am going to remove the electrons. It becomes neutral now. Then I have to get the positive charge. What happens now? Now it gains the positive charge, positive ion. So when an atom loses an electron, it becomes positive ion, that is cation. When an atom gains the electron, it becomes anion. So this is how the ion formation takes place, children. I hope all the concepts are very clear for you. Share and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.